This is one of those radicals inside a radical, or a nested radical. And on this one, if we, one of the techniques we use is we say, okay, let's set it equal to x and then square both sides. But if you did that, you'd find out that doesn't really get me anywhere. So instead, this is more of a guess and check type problem, though we can do some algebra in it if the guess and check doesn't work. But we usually start with guess and check and say, well, just like the square root of 9 is equal to 3 squared, right? Because 3 squared equals 9, we're going to say that this is going to equal to something that when we square it gives you 81 plus 8 root 5. And that something, to get the root 5, I need a root 5 in that something. And so it's going to be a plus b root 5. And so the key is it's just going to be a binomial that squares to equal this. And that's the assumption you have to make. So we square both sides of that. And that gives me 81 plus 8 root 5 equals a squared plus 2ab root 5 plus 5b squared. Well, we can then say, all right, to make this work, I need 2ab root 5 to give me the 8 root 5. And so that means that 2ab has to equal 8, which means a times b has to equal 4. And then I need the other two things to give me the 81 because they're not going to give me the root 5 part. So they have to give me the 81 part. And so that means that a squared plus 5b squared has to equal 81. If I can make this work, then I can find something that when I square it gives me 81 plus 8 root 5.
Well, if they're going to be nice,
then this must be either 1 times 4, 2 times 2, or 4 times 1. That's how you're going to get 4. If I put 1 times 4 in here, that gives me 1 squared plus 5 times 4 squared equals 81. Well, there you go, because that gives me 1 times plus 80. That does equal 81. So I found out that A would equal 1 and B would equal 4. So the correct answer to this problem is 1 plus 4 root 5. I just substituted 1 in for A, 5 in for B. Now, you can check yourself by saying, if this is true, just like when I square 3, I get 9. That's why the square root of 9 equals 3. If I square this, I better get 81 plus 8 root 5. So I look at 1 plus 4 root 5 squared. Well, that gives me the first term squared plus 2 times the product of the two terms, 2 times 4 root 5, plus the last term squared, which equals 80. And yeah, that gives us our 81 plus 8 root 5. So this indeed is the square root of 81 plus 8 root 5. So the correct answer is 1 plus 4 root 5.